Distribution of Benthic mollusk in the intertidal zone of Barangay Cayuclucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte. Introduction. Mollusks are one of the most ancient animals on Earth today. They are naturally distributed in the Indo-West Pacific Ocean, including Philippines, which is considered as mega diverse country in terms of diversity. Philippines are believed to have around 22,000 species of mollusks of an estimated 70,000 species globally. Mercedes is one of the municipality of Camarines Norte that most of the people are relying on fishing. Some of the coastal area of the Mercedes is now becoming a tourist spot. Cayuclucan is one of the barangay in Mercedes that is located at the coastal. Importance of this study. This study will benefit the residents of Barangay Cayuclucan by creating awareness about existing benthic mollusks found in the area. The data and the information that was collected in this research will serve as the basis for the abundance and distribution pattern of benthic mollusks used for future studies. Objectives of the study. This study focused on the distribution of benthic mollusks in the intertidal zone of Barangay Cayuclucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte. Specifically, this study aimed to, number 1, identify the species of gastropods and bivalves present in the area. Number 2, determine the abundance of benthic mollusks. And number 3, compute the distribution pattern of mollusks in each site. Scope and limitation of the study focus on the distribution of benthic mollusks found in the intertidal zone of Barangay Cayuclucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte. The rocky area of the intertidal zone in Barangay Cayuclucan was chosen as the sampling site as to the presence of gastropods and bivalves in the area. In each site, the species of class Gastropoda and Bivalvia was collected for further identification for species. The book, The Shell's Handbook and Field Guide to Mollusk Resources of Laguna Gulf, was used to identify the species of benthic mollusk found in the area, and the unidentified samples was performed in the Bicol Shells Museum for further identification. So the time and place of the study. Sampling and data gathering was conducted from February 14 to 16, 2018 during low tide on the selected sites along the intertidal zone of Barangay Cayuclucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte. Review of literature. The researcher gathered several related literatures to provide more information and to understand further the characteristic of mollusk. Intertidal zone. According to Danny and Wetty 2009, the intertidal zone is the area periodically covered and uncovered by water. This is exposed at low tide but covered at high tide. Soft-bodied invertebrates like benthic mollusks are living in this habitat are alternatively pounded by waves and exposed to thermal extremes during low tide periods. Benthic mollusks. According to Bird 2017, benthic mollusks are one of the important marine ecosystem. Moreover, 50,000 known species are mollusks that makes the second to the arthropods in phylum in terms of size. Most of the known mollusks are like snail, clams, mussels, squid, and octopods. The relationships between humans and mollusks are as diverse the animals themselves. Benthic mollusks or gastropoda and bivalvia have different structure. In this related literature, they explain the life cycle of gastropods. According to Don Marcotti 2013, the gastropods can hatch an egg that may turn into larvae, but reproductive organs can be found in marine gastropods, but in order to reproduce, they need to mate with the other gastropods. Some of the gastropods can produce egg and fertilizing if there is no other adult available, and it will hatch into a larva. In egg cases, it may up to contain 4,000 embryos which will hatch within 4 to 6 days in the shallow water near the shore. The larvae will now settle at the bottom of the ocean to form an symmetrical body shape, and they begin to grow until they reach the maturity around 3 to 5 years. Life cycle of bivalves. According to the Paleontological Research Institution, the life cycle of bivalvia are very uniform and has a difference among the species in the length of each stage, the anatomy, and the behavior of each stage. The stage of developmental in bivalves has a direct impact on the distribution, like those with free-swimming larval stage has a high geographic range, and those who have smaller or shorter free-swimming stages have a less range geographically. Methodology. Research design. This study utilized the descriptive research design to identify and classify the benthic mollusk. This research design was used to measure the density, abundance, and the distribution pattern of benthic mollusks found in the intertidal zone of Barangay Cayucuyucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte. The subject of the study was determined the distribution of benthic mollusks in the intertidal zone of Barangay Cayucuyucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte. The procedure was identifying the sample area. The ocular visit was conducted last January 17 and 19, 2018 to survey the area where the actual sampling was conducted. The study site covers the whole rocky intertidal zone of Barangay Cayucuyucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte. Collection and preservation of samples. The mollusks found within the belt transect were counted and recorded. Necessary safety precautions were employed in handling the samples and placed in pre-labeled ziplock for identification. Specimens that need to be identified was sent at the Bicol Shells Museum was preserved in a jar submerged in a denatured alcohol. Identification of the species. Samples were identified using World Register of Marine Species, the Shell's Handbook, and the Field Guide to Mollusks Resources of Laguna Gulf. The location and date of observation was recorded and facilitated by 2 persons to ensure proper data recording. All data were recorded and organized with the use of a database and frequency table. Results and discussion. A total of 19 species were found within the 6 transects in the rocky area of the intertidal zone of Barangay Cayucuyucan. In this table, 1 shows the scientific name together with a picture of gastropods and bivalves. The following benthic mollusks were the 15 species identified under the class Gastropoda, such as the following: abundance of benthic mollusks. In Table 2 shows the frequency and level of abundance of benthic mollusks in each transect. In all transects, the species C. Batellereiformis has the highest frequency with a total number of 2,264, followed by M. margaritocola 157, Seletium sp. 51, and Clypeomerus sp. 75, interpreted as very abundant. The species N. albicilla 16 is less abundant. Meanwhile, rare status goes to 5 species found. In conclusion, the benthic mollusks were found in the intertidal zone of the Barangay Cayucuyucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte. Both gastropods and bivalves were found in the rocky area of the intertidal zone, specifically 15 species of class Gastropoda and 4 species under class Bivalvia. Species under class Gastropoda are found to be more abundant as compared to the class Bivalvia. All the species observed fall under clump distribution in all 6 sites. The researchers recommend the following findings in the study. conduct a follow-up study on the Benthic mollusks inhabiting the intertidal zone of Barangay Cayucan, Mercedes, Camarines Norte to provide further information which were not discussed in the study. Spearhead seminars in the local communities about the proper way of harvesting bivalves and gastropods in order to avoid overfishing of marine mollusks. Number 3. Monitor the number of the mollusks, especially those species that had very rare result. Furthermore, researchers suggest that the local barangay must have an ordinance that will limit the harvesting of the species in order for them to have enough time to reproduce. For future researchers to focus on studies about other aspects of benthic mollusks, such as uses, characteristics, and physiochemical parameters like salinity, temperature, and pH. The overall critique to this scientific article, the title is interesting, which benefits especially the Barangay Cayucan. The authors made the right citation yet lack unrelated literature. They must indicate the lifespan of bivalves and gastropods. The objectives of the study is focuses on the distribution found in Barangay Cayucan and in related literature provide more information which helps to better understand the research. And methodology, it has a good calculation where they conducted a survey and collected a sample. In results and discussion, they found out the abundance of bivalves and gastropods. In recommendation, which give an idea to reserve the distribution of benthic mollusks present in Barangay Cayucan.